And
What's up, guys? Kevin from BrotoGP here, joined by my main man, Rob, basically one luscious man attached to the greatest mane of hair you've ever seen. In honor of Jorge Lorenzo's DNF at the opening round of Qatar, we decided that we would make a new list that he will definitely not be on. That being said, to reiterate, I'm Kevin, he's Rob, and this is Ducati's top 5 MotoGP riders. Number 5, we're starting off this list with the maniac himself, Andrea Iannone. Some people might think this is a little bit of a weird choice, but bear with me. Andrea Iannone, Ducati's really first true homegrown talent, brought up to the Pramac squad on a satellite ride, and then sort of unceremoniously, as Cal was dumped, took his spot, went to the factory ride, and was the first rider to actually score the win and end their dry spell at the Red Bull Ring after many, many winless years, basically down in the abyss. Had multiple podiums, finally was able to seal that win, was like Ducati's first rock star rider in a long time. And let's be real, if it wasn't for a couple of mistakes at Argentina and a few other races, he might have Dovi's spot, and he may be on a higher point on this list than he would have. Alas, it was not meant to be, but he was the first rider that was able to get Ducati back on the top of the podium to seal the deal, which we predicted, by the way, and did a whole Game of Thrones episode about. You can go back and listen to that. Self-plug, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely have to go with the Maniac. He was fast from the get-go. They brought him up from Moto2 to their junior squad, brought him to the factory squad, and, homeboy made good. Italian rider winning an Italian bike to bring them back from the brink. Easily, Andrea Iannone is our number 5 pick for Ducati's top 5 MotoGP riders.
well, I think that's the thing about this list is every single rider on this list has Ducati wins in MotoGP.
Correct.
So you're not gonna see anyone else that's just like a scrub that we thought got good podiums or whatever. Everyone's got wins. All right, our number 4, Troy Bayliss. So this goes back a little bit further into it's still the modern MotoGP era. But back in 2003, Troy Bayliss was on the factory team. He got 3 podiums that year. In the subsequent year, in 2004, he only got 1 podium, and he actually retired for half the races in 2004, and then was subsequently fired from the factory team. But that's kind of like, I'm kind of talking shit about him. That is not why we're putting him on the list. The reason why he went to a Honda the following year, broke his arm, didn't do the entire season, but then handsomely won the World Superbike title for factory Ducati in 2006. Again, we're not talking about that either. But in 2006, at the very end of the year, because Superbike ended early, he got a wild card at Valencia. And what did he do? Troy Bayliss won the motherfucking race. So
as a wild card.
As a wild card. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Not in the modern era. In the MotoGP era, he's the only one.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, obviously we've covered 2006 in previous episodes quite a bit. We did a throwback to that actual round. It's just crazy. Not only did he beat his teammate Loris Capirossi, obviously he beat Nicky Hayden as well, who went 3rd. Maybe you could say that Nicky Hayden was kind of, riding into the title because Rossi had crashed, but it was a crazy race. Everything set up great. Troy Bayliss won the race. That's why we're putting him ahead of Andrea Iannone for Ducati's number 4 MotoGP riders.
Right. Speaking of Troy Bayliss, 2003, and the original crew what are you laughing at? The original crew that started Ducati's MotoGP. Our number 3 pick is Loris Capirossi. Arguably could have been the number 2 pick, but I'm going to go with number 3. He is the original OG Ducati winner. He burst onto the scene with Ducati in 2003 on Michelin's, and in a year when Yamaha had no wins, Ducati was able to podium with Loris Capirossi in their 3rd race and would go on to win a race in their rookie season with Loris Capirossi. Sure, there was some extenuating circumstances, Rob Valentino getting the yellow flag penalty that dropped him back 20 seconds, but in the end, a win is a win in the dry. Loris Capirossi would be the first Italian rider and to lead the charge for Ducati into GP. He got their first podium, got their first win. He was with them in rough seasons, 2004, was able to bounce back, get wins, and then in 2006, arguably led a title charge until some major problems later in the year. But basically, as Rob said, you have to have a win to be on this list, because the list of riders that rode Ducati with no wins is long and distinguished. Unlike Mike Johnson, I'm gonna get that joke in every episode. He was able to win in Ducati on multiple years. He won in 2003. He won in 2006. He won in the wet at Motegi in 2007 on the Ducati, when the era of no one else can ride it except for someone who might also be on this list. I don't know where he's going to end up. He was also able to win that year as well. Check Wikipedia. I'm not offhand. I'm a little drunk right now. I think he won in 2005 on the Bridgestones. Don't quote me on that, but he definitely won in 2006. He definitely won in 2007, definitely won in 2003. Loris Capirossi, without a doubt, is one of the OG, most famous Ducati riders there was in terms of, that factory, the results he was able to get them and get them off the ground floor and really able to make them have a charge. Think about the other riders that other manufacturers, you're talking about KTM, we're thinking they get a top 10, it's suddenly a good, we can't believe it. Or Suzuki comes back, or they run one rider with Alvaro Bautista, they get top 5, and everyone's freaking out. Like Ducati podium in their third race, won in their 6th. Like, it's just the norm. You know what I mean? They knew how to make a 4-stroke bike, and they busted out a V4 that replicated their V-twin from Superbike and was able to put it on the ground, and Loris Capirossi, easy number 3.
Well, and they also won in a time when you had a V5 Honda on the grid that was super dominant.
Correct.
Right. So, but if I'm not mistaken, Loris got injured right in 2006 while he was he leading the championship?
He was right in it. I can't remember if he was leading. He was right in it when the massive crash happened. That John Hopkins was actually suspended for multiple races for initiating. That would go on to basically ruin Sete Gibernau's career. Another Ducati rider that may have been on this list if it wasn't for extenuating circumstances. We're not going to mention that part where he came back with Ducati but rode for an African dictator, warlord, and laundered their money. That was a little weird. I know there's two things that discount. There's two things from discount you from this list, guys, is that you have to have won a race and you cannot have ridden for a Central African warlord. Those two things keep you off this list. Speaking of two things, Rob coming up with our number 2 rider.
Number 2 pick, and obviously number 1 and number 2 are pretty close here. We think you can guess which 2 riders they are. But our number 2 is Andrea Dovizioso. The Ducati Moses, right? So he is our most recent Ducati title challenger, essentially the first real Ducati title challenger since Casey Stoner. He's 3 for 3 in the final corner against Marc Marquez. Rossi doesn't even have a record like that. He's 32 years old, still improving as a rider. Like, he keeps telling us that he feels like he doesn't have a limit yet. And he's still getting faster. He's one of the major proponents for the thumb brake and has brought that to fore for the Ducati. He actually has 13 podiums and 8 wins on the Ducati. Compare that to the rest of his career of 21 podiums on both the Honda and the Yamaha and only 1 win on not a Ducati. So him coming to Ducati, putting in all that effort for the factory team is really solidifying his career, putting him on this list, putting him really high up, and actually showing us that he's one of the great riders in MotoGP.
Winning across multiple years too, 1, 2, 3 years now with his win at the opener of Qatar. This is not a flash in the pan. This is not a one-time thing. He is a regular threat for a win now for multiple years going.
Yeah, we were a little unsure, right? Last year was great, but you never know if Ducati's gonna miss the setup, miss the development in the off season. But it really seems like they put a bike together for Dovizioso and Dovi's giving them that input, and Dovi's able to be a consistent title challenger again. It's only after round 1 for 2018, but we're hoping to see more from him for this year. All right, Kev, take us away with number 1.
That being said, Tony Elias. Just kidding. But he did podium on a satellite Ducati, and that is dope in 2008. But obviously, the number 1, Casey Stoner. If Desmodovi is the Ducati Moses, Casey Stoner is effectively the Ducati Jesus, because he completely resurrected on the point that they won the title. He's the only title winner. He did it in massively dominant fashion. He beat Valentino, and then not only beat Valentino and convincingly won the title, but was able to keep them on a winning record for multiple years. Even as their bike kind of development went off the rails, they went down the rabbit hole with the monocoque frame, when they were ahead of their time with the carbon fiber swing arm, all of that. Obviously, Casey Stoner is the number one. He's synonymous with Ducati. He left Ducati a bit unceremoniously, some drama. He goes to Honda, wins a championship, wins a shitload of races, but at the end of the day, came back to the fold where he made his name, one of the greatest pairings in Ducati history, became their test rider, and is now clearly helping them now from his, quiet semi-retired life to continue to battle for championships and wins again. There's no doubt in my mind that Casey Stoner is the number one rider in Ducati history across all of their stuff. I think he surpasses Carl Fogarty, no doubt. And
wow,
one of the reasons that hey, Superbike is Superbike, but fucking Grand Prix is the show, and I think, a testament to Stoner's, even though he was never really the most popular guy, the testament to his popularity with Ducati as that combination, as that, together, is that basically every year since his retirement and when he's come back to Ducati, is he going to wild card? Please let him wild card. Everyone just assumes he wins at Phillip Island, and he very well might. He's super fast in testing. He has no problems. We're talking about a guy that's retired for years now that all Ducatista fans are striving for him to come back for one more race. Come back for one wild card, what are you laughing at, Rob?
It's not going to happen. That's the thing. It's not going to happen. I mean,
but
I'm so shocked that Casey Stoner even came back to the Ducati fold, because he had, like you said drama, right? He had the lactose intolerance bit. He essentially was shown a sports psychologist and was eventually left the factory. I mean, he rode a motorcycle that in 2007 won the championship, and it slowly got worse and worse and worse until it resembled what happened to Ducati in 2004 with Troy Bayliss crashing half the races, right? It's crazy to hear all that. But I mean, for me, my personal opinion about Casey Stoner, he would have more titles if it wasn't for Ducati. But I shouldn't bag on Ducati during this
He would
video.
have more titles if it wasn't for Preziosi. But,
that's true.
He'd have more titles. I'm going to go here, Rob. I'm going to go here.
Yeah.
He would have more titles if trellis frame.
God damn it. No.
Here's the thing about Stoner. At the end of the day, Stoner's career could be broken down into one thing. I remember when Stoner retired, his final race, Dennis, our homeboy, the OG BrotoGP creator, he made this cool picture banner for posted on some forums you're posted on, and the main crux of it was farewell to the guy who brought a knife to a gunfight and won.
Yeah, that is true.
You can bring up his career with that. 2008 and 9, dude was fighting with a super soaker and was winning.
He didn't crash in his final. He didn't. What year did he crash on?
He crashed in the warm-up lap. Yeah,
on his final.
I believe. Yeah,
oh God.
2009, I believe, the warm-up lap.
I had to bring that one up. All right, that's. I think this might be our shortest video ever. Let's close this one out, Kevin.
Yes.
I got a tech video coming up. You sent in your questions. I'm gonna cover that pretty soon. I'm feeling healthy again after my crash at the racetrack last weekend, so we'll get that one done.
Y'all might ask me why this was a little short and why I wasn't trying to make too many jokes. That's because Rob can't laugh. I could kill Rob right now. But you see, with the amount of pain, look at the wind scene. Rob is like this teeny tiny perfect little bird with hollow bones. And Kevin's boisterous jokes come up with all the pain he's in from that massive fucking high side where he was going slower. I have no idea. I would kill him. Rob would be dead.
Slow. Just a little slower. The contusion in my back is like that big.
Right.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
So for reference, guys, this big on Rob is easily 2/3 the surface area of his back.
Piece of shit. Oh, yeah, that hurts. All right. Time to go take some muscle relaxers.
Guys. This has been Ducati's Top 5 MotoGP Racers. I'm Kevin. That's Rob. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And we will be producing a bunch more of these. The season's coming. A lot more Moto America coverage. New podcast episodes coming up. Josh Herron is dying to get on and talk some shit. So we can't turn him down. And there's been some rumblings of getting some recording with David Emmett at Coda. I'm going to get super wasted and make an ass of myself.
I didn't even hear about that one. All right, everyone. Peace. We'll catch you later.